So I'm out here at Waterfall Gully on Andy's Santacruz Hightower LT, the CC model, so they're top carbon. It's got the new RockShox Lyric RC2 with the debonair. It's got a super deluxe coil by the looks of it, or I'm assuming that's a super deluxe coil. There's no stickers on it or whatnot, but coil shock all the same. Eagle drivetrain, all the cool stuff. 740 bars, a little bit narrower than what I'd run, but not a big deal. So there, I'm usually on about 760. Now, first impressions, I've done one lap. Climbing up, it's just an absolute gem to climb on. So easy to climb on. So just went up the Pioneer Women's Trail, and it feels like when you're climbing, any sort of effort, especially once you get out of the saddle, there's no squat, there's no bob, and there's no feedback. It's just straightforward. It just gives you forward trajectory. So that's pretty impressive. It basically feels overdamped. So that first lap of climbing, it felt overdamped or oversprung, sorry, for me. After the first run, the forks, it was clear that the forks were definitely too stiff. What I'd ended up working out is too much ramp up, too progressive. So they felt fairly progressive. So what I did at the bottom, I was running 85 PSI. Andy was running 75 PSI in the fork with 2 volume spacers. So I've taken both of those volume spacers out, ridden back up. I'm now at 90 PSI. The climb was still efficient, still felt good. Front end tracked a little bit better and it was a little bit more calm. So with those 2 volume spacers in these new Lyrics, it just takes away all of your low speed chatter compliance. So this whole track all the way through, all the chatter, all the bumps, my front end was just getting deflected and I was getting a lot of feedback, a lot of chatter through the arms. So I knew they were oversprung. I had the similar issue with when I put the Vorsprung air spring upgrade in my Lyric. It's very much similar to what this debonair is, and I went from 3 volume spacers pre-Luftkapper to 1 spacer, and then I went to no spacers, and I found no spacers gave me a more consistent feel through the fork. It made it softer off the top, and being that it's got the larger negative air spring, I feel like that actually accounted for all the mid-stroke, the absence of mid-stroke support that used to exist on the old spring. So I feel like these forks are the same. The mid-stroke is now coming from the increased negative air spring, so you don't really need, I don't feel you need these spacers. They only serve to make the fork a little more harsh and a little bit more, obviously more progressive. So all the spacers out, I've just done the first couple of corners and already it feels much better. So 90 PSI, no spacers, it's tracking better. I've got 2 clicks of high speed. Andy had it set up with no clicks of high speed and 4 clicks of low speed. I've got 3 clicks of low speed now. And I'll do this run, see how it feels, have a tinker again, and then come back up and see whether I still feel like the bike's oversprung. Maybe that rear end's a little bit too firm, which is helping it climb. But yeah, we'll do another run and we'll see how it goes. So that's a lap down with the fork changed to the setting I'd prefer, or what I would think would work. So no spacers in that fork, 90 PSI. Felt killer everywhere. If anything, maybe 1 click too many of high speed, which is in 2 clicks of high speed at the moment, which is what RockShox says is the standard setup if you didn't have the adjustment there. So their preset in the other forks is 2 clicks. So I've gone 1 click off just for this bottom half and it still felt really good. It was sharing its travel a little bit more freely. 3 clicks of low speed compression feels excellent. It's not chattery anymore. It's not giving me heaps of feedback over those hits. It's great. I can charge a line better. It's more stable. It's not pushing me around as much. The rear shock, I went 2 clicks slower on the beginning stroke rebound, trying to calm the back end down a bit. Once you get into the rough stuff, it kind of starts pushing you around a little bit. So I'm running 23 PSI in the back, 22 in the front. So pretty standard for a 29er for me. I think that rear end's just a little bit oversprung. It's a 400 spring, and I'd love a 375. I reckon that'd bring it alive for sure, and it'd keep you over the back a little bit more. Saying that, with this setup, super efficient. It carries speed between all the corners really well. It's cornering really well. I'm not too fussed with the handlebar, the narrow handlebar. The the Code RSC brakes feel really good. They don't feel overly powerful. After coming off of that Trek Powerfly with the Shimano 4-pot XTs, the 200mm rotors front and back, they had a lot of power. They've got more power than what these Codes feel like, but I think these Codes are out braking the tyres as well. So this rear tyre, it's a DHR2 3C, but I think maybe it's been sitting around for a while because it's quite loose. There's no grip on the back there, so got to be careful coming into the steep entries. Got to brake a lot earlier. DHF Max Terra is good. Not quite as good as the Max Grips. So I've just put a new Max Terra on my bike as well, so we'll see how I go with that. But yeah, happy with these forks. Definitely much better without the spacers in them. And I ride pretty hard. And if anyone's going to need spacers, it's probably either me or a guy heavier than me that rides hard as well. You know, tries to charge pretty fast. So no spacers. If you've got these new RockShox Lyrics or the new RockShox Yari, take the spacers out to start with and work your setup from there. So you don't need to be convinced by these forks ride better deeper in their travel, because I really don't think they do. I think you're better off with no spacers and a bigger positive air chamber. So let's see how we go another lap. So I've just thrown another lap down, and when I got to the top, I had a good fiddle with the rebound on the rear shock. So front, I went one more click of low speed compression, so that's 4 now, and that feels much better. And on the back, we've got beginning stroke rebound and ending stroke rebound, which can get quite confusing for people. So I had a bounce around. I basically took a note of where they were and took them to both ends of the scale to just see independently, like open one all the way up and then played with the other one at open, middle and closed, and then did vice versa, and came to the conclusion that the rear shock was definitely way too slow in the it was too slow in the beginning stroke rebound. Yeah, it was too slow in the beginning stroke rebound and way too fast in the ending stroke rebound. So what it was doing is sapping all the grip from the tyre under chattery stuff. So no grip. Wasn't entirely the tyre's fault, turns out. So really, really fast ending stroke rebound made it harsh off of all the hits, like it was trying to kick me off the bike constantly. It was trying to push me forward constantly, a little bit bucky at the back. So now I've gone, it's about at halfway through its dial, maybe a little bit slower than halfway through its dial on the ending stroke, and the beginning stroke are much more active and playful. And that next lap, that last lap, straight out of the gate, it just felt much better. It felt like a different bike. So before, it felt stiff and efficient, and very much it wasn't compliant. It wasn't complying to anything. It was getting deflected off of everything. That run there, much more planted, much more playful, and more grip at the back. So definitely on the right track. And 29er. So this is a medium in a Santacruz, which is quite a small bike. The climbing position feels good. It kind of feels too small for me, but still feels playful. And the wheels, the 29er wheels, are not doing what most 29ers I've ridden are doing. So I'm not getting that. It quite often feels like the back wheel is trying to keep you in a straight line while you're trying to pull the rest of the bike towards your preferred line where you want to go. On this, it's super playful. Wherever I point it, it wants to go. It's short enough in those chain stays. I'm not too sure what the geo is on it, but the chainstay feels short enough that I can flick it around. I'm changing directions really well. I'm out here riding twisted gum, which is quite a technical track, and I'm not having any trouble getting around these corners. The only thing I would say is the narrower bar is taking me a little bit longer to get used to than I would have thought. It's just a little bit less leverage turning sharp corners, but even so, not an issue. Now that I got this shock feeling good on the back, I'm still running it at 0 compression at the back. I might add a click, I might not. We'll see how we go on this next run. But yeah, it's starting to really come alive. I like this bike.